All right. Let's start here. We are joined by Andrew Levy, CEO of Avelo Airlines. I remember the last conversation we had, you said, because I asked you, how do you pronounce the name of this company? And you said yellow, Avelo, like yellow. Is that what we're going with?
That's it. That's it. You
I
got
like
it.
I like it. We have some major announcements happening tomorrow. What is Avelo going to announce as it relates to McKinney Airport?
Sure. Well, as I think has been widely publicized, I think we put out a release about this, and we expected to be the launch airline at McKinney National Airport. And today we're announcing service to five destinations from McKinney starting in the middle of November, November 11th to be precise. We're going to be offering service to Las Vegas, Nevada, Orlando, Tampa, Fort Lauderdale, and Fort Myers, Florida. So, five of the most popular leisure destinations in the United States. We'll have anywhere from 2 trips a week to Fort Myers, and then 4 or 5 trips a week to each of the other locations that I mentioned. And we're starting all off with a introductory fare sale of $99, which includes a checked bag. So bags will fly free on Avelo, at least for bookings made through the end of July.
For your first bag, correct?
For your first bag, that is correct. That's exactly right.
Let's start here. Why those locations? Why those markets?
Well, these are five of the most popular leisure destinations in the U.S. and that applies to the community in the Dallas Metroplex, right? So there's a lot of data out there that we use to make determinations like this. So these are markets that have wide appeal. And certainly the Florida market starting in the middle of November is perfect timing as you go into the time of year when Florida really gets very popular because of the nice weather that you have at that time of year. Las Vegas a little different in that it's kind of year round demand. It's all the time, year in year out, and so those five markets we think will offer something for most everybody. And we expect that the residents of Collin County, North Texas, and hopefully the Metroplex in general will find what we offer to be really compelling and of great interest.
Now, I've noticed in some of the verbiage in the press release, it reads Collin County's hometown airline. Can you explain what that means?
Well, look, when we establish new bases, and that's what McKinney is going to be for us. A base for us is a place where we put airplanes that live there, and they leave in the morning, they come home at night. And with that includes pilots, flight attendants, aircraft technicians, airport operations personnel. So we'll have over 100 direct employees up in McKinney when we launch this service in the middle of November. And we hope and believe that this is just the start. This is just a couple airplanes to get us going. We are very optimistic about the opportunity at this location. We sell two things at Avelo. Our purpose or our mission is to inspire travel. And we do that by saving customers not just money, but also time. And that's where McKinney National is such an amazing opportunity for us and for the community and those residents of the Metroplex who can access this airport conveniently. This is a small, easy to use little airport. And I've never met anybody who'd prefer to go to a big airport if they could fly out of a small airport. And those who give us a try and try this new terrific airport with our service out of there, I think they're going to be incredibly pleased and they're going to want to keep coming back because it is just going to be so easy to use. Parking your car with a short walk into the building. Next thing you know, you're through security, you're in the hold room, you're on the airplane, and you're off. And that is a product that we've had great success in delivering to communities in other parts of the country where we have bases. Up in Connecticut is one, in New Haven, Philadelphia, in Wilmington, Delaware. We have a presence in Charlotte, just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, and then Lakeland Airport, which is right in between Tampa and Orlando. Now, this is our fifth base. And when we establish a base, not we bring a lot of employment into the community, but we also become very active in the community, and we're looking forward to being involved with the Collin County, McKinney community, and the Metroplex in general as a good corporate citizen.
I know we've identified 5 destinations coming from McKinney. Is there a chance to expand that further?
Oh, well, we're very optimistic about the opportunities we have in McKinney. And so we do think there's a lot of markets that will work from there. But you got to start somewhere. These five are ones that, for the reasons I mentioned, were, in our minds, pretty obvious way to get started. If we're right about the opportunity there and the fact that we believe customers are going to really gravitate to this, then yeah, we think there's a lot of opportunity there to grow and add more destinations and more frequencies. But I think that, just to put it in perspective, I mean, this is an airport that has four gates, and it's built to be able to grow a little bit from there. So this is not the next, DFW. This is not the next Love Field. This is part of the value here is the size and scale of being nice and easy to use because of how small it is. And we love airports like this. So this is a niche product, but for people that want to go to the places that we serve and want to save some money and have a much more enjoyable experience than going to a much larger airport, I think they're going to love what we do. And as we like to say, if you know, you Avelo. And in Dallas, no one knows yet, but they will starting in middle of November. People are going to have a chance to give us a try, and I think people are going to really enjoy taking advantage of the service we're going to offer out of McKinney National Airport up there in Collin County.
And so let's talk through the pricing. So it's going to be this is just an introductory fare, $99 for tickets purchased in July. Is that correct?
Through the end of July, that includes a check bag. That's correct.
Okay. And then after that, where would it? How much do you think it'll go?
After that, we expect everyday low pricing to start at about $79. Some of that is going to depend on how sales start and progress, but we expect the fares to start at $79 one way. We do have an unbundled pricing approach at Avelo, and where customers buy the things that they value. So for the first month, as we just talked about, the check bag is free. After that, there will be an incremental charge for that. We have a variety of seating options on our airplanes that give you more room for those who value that. And we also have a what we call it Stretch Plus. It's like I liken it to a European business class product. If those of some of your viewers might be familiar with that, but the middle seat is blocked and you have very ample leg room, and so that's another product we offer. So we have a variety of seating options for customers who want to know where they're going to sit in advance. If you don't care, that's fine too. We charge for check bags, and we charge for carry-on bags, roller bags, not anything that sits that can fit under the seat in front of you. But if it's a roller bag, then we charge extra for that. Look, it's a basic product, but it's delivered very, very well. We have won a lot of recognition for our on-time performance. We've been at the top of the industry for the last 3 years, and we are there again in 2026. We are at the top of the industry in terms of the fewest flights that we cancel. We do a great job with bags. We're usually at the top of the industry in terms of making sure you get there with your bag. And we do it with fantastic people, especially our flight attendants who deliver what we call as our soul of service, just kind and caring treatment of our customers. And we are really excited to hire locally. We think there's going to be a tremendous interest in these job opportunities there in Dallas. And we're very excited to tap into a great community, both of customers, but also folks who may want to join us as crew members.
Have those hirings happened yet?
No, we're starting the process of recruiting over the course of the next few weeks. We're going to create with these first two airplanes, we'll have just working for Avelo, we'll have over 100 jobs, and obviously there'll be some other jobs required at the airport and otherwise. And as we continue to grow, then obviously that'll continue to create more and more new jobs in the area, which we're always excited to do, contribute to the local economy.
And where will those listings be posted? On the website?
Well, you can see it on the website for sure, and we'll be having some job fairs that'll be publicized. I think that there's a location on our website for interested applicants looking for new roles, and that's the place to go. It's just aveloair.com. Check it out, and whether you're an interested customer or whether maybe you're looking for a job, all that you can go to our website and kind of go from there.
The looking at some of the pricing, the low end you're saying is $79 for a one way. What would it be probably on the high end? And I know I can't quote you on all of it, but what
You
are we looking?
know, look, I don't know the answer to that because some of it will simply depend. But I can tell you that what we do is we offer customers great value. That's how our business works. You know, we fly 737s. These are 184 seat aircraft. These are full size mainline aircraft. And when you're a newer airline, and we've been around for a little over 5 years, then your advantage is your efficiency and your costs, and that means leading with price, and that's we're not we haven't been around 50 years or 100 years. We've been around 5 years, and so part of the way we attract customers is by offering them a great deal. And so I don't want to say we'll always be cheaper than everybody else, but we are almost always cheaper than everybody else out there. And some of that's just because we have to in order to make our business work. But we rely on filling up airplanes, taking people to very popular destinations, whether they're leisure destinations for people that are going on vacation, second homes, or visiting friends and relatives. That's how our business works. We're not a business oriented airline. We don't fly multiple trips per day. We fly multiple trips per week. But we take you to places that there's a lot of interest in going to, and these first five markets certainly hit the mark in that regard.
You're based in Houston. Is
We are a
Houston?
Houston-based company just down the road. That's exactly right. We're very proud to be a Texas-based company, and we're really excited. We serve Dallas and Houston with a couple flights a week up to New Haven, Connecticut. But this is really our first big investment, besides our headquarters here in Houston. This is our first big investment in Texas, and we just couldn't think of a better place to get started than McKinney National Airport. We think it's just going to be a fantastic addition to our network, and we think customers are absolutely going to love what we do, and they're going to love flying in and out of McKinney. So we just can't wait to get started.
Is there an opportunity for a McKinney to Houston connection?
We'll see. It's a short drive, right? So, but I know a lot of people like to fly it, so we shall see. But first things first, we're going to focus on these other markets that are a little more kind of in our sweet spot in terms of just the types of markets. But no question, there's a lot of demand for travel between our two great cities, and maybe one day we'll be able to add to the mix of suppliers that can offer you another way to get from here to there.
I've got 2 more minutes here. I wanted to ask you about some of the factors affecting the big four. Um,
Sure.
the big four are really struggling right now. Some of that has to do with jet fuel costs. How does this? Are some of those factors also affecting Avelo?
Well, I would actually maybe disagree with you respectfully that I actually think the big four are doing extremely well. Now, I think that two of them in particular are doing better than the other two. And the two that are maybe in third and fourth place maybe are the two that are headquartered in the Dallas Metroplex area. Fuel has certainly been a challenge for all of us with what we've seen after the beginning of the hostilities in the Middle East, but that's really reversed itself to a large extent. It's not back to where it was at the beginning of the year. But what we're seeing, we, Avelo, and I think the industry in general is seeing very strong demand. This is a great economy we have in the US. There's been a lot of naysayers. There's been a lot of people predicting a recession for the last many years. But what we're seeing is instead, we're seeing really good employment numbers. We're seeing inflation numbers that are under control. We're seeing a very robust demand environment, especially this summer in terms of demand for travel. And so, look, we are extremely excited about where we sit. I think the worst is behind us in terms of fuel. We'll see if that turns out to be true, but the demand side of the equation is very, very good right now, and we're excited about what we see.
The last time we talked, you made it very clear. Listen, we are not the big four. That monopoly has become sort of a debating point for a lot of people. Do you think that the monopoly that the big four have is a benefit to Avelo?
Well, look, the big four, United, Delta, American, and Southwest, they control about 80% of the United States marketplace. So I don't think that's good for consumers. I definitely don't. I think that consumers benefit when there are more choices, and we are bringing more choice to the traveling public, and I think that's part of why our service has really been embraced by many. But what we do also is very unique. And I do think that having these monstrous airlines that have these massive operations in these really large hub airports, I think it makes what we offer in a place like McKinney stand out so much more because the experience of a traveler going to a DFW, which is an incredible airport, and American does an amazing job there, and they deliver a really great service to the residents of the Metroplex. Be able to go anywhere in the world is a huge advantage that Dallas has. But it's a big, difficult, airport with a lot of long walks and big parking lots and whatnot. I think that compared that to a McKinney, which is similar to our other base airports around the country that we serve, it just stands as such as a stark contrast in terms of the experience that you would have. And, I think people are going to love it. We're not going to be everything to everybody. And if you want to get up and back to LaGuardia in a day, that's not going to be on us. But if you are okay with being able to fly, 5 trips a week to Orlando to go see Disney or friends and relatives or whatever else you might want to do in Central Florida, we're going to offer you not just a great deal in terms of the price, but we're going to allow you to do it just a completely different experience. It's a little bit of a throwback to the old days, and I think that's part of what people like. So the contrast for us is not necessarily a bad thing, and we'll see. It's worked everywhere else we've been. We think Dallas is going to love what we do, and we'll soon find out once we start opening up for sale, which is today or the 30th of June.
Last question. We've just announced some of them. We'll be announcing the markets here very soon. What's the next big announcement that Avelo is planning on making, and what would it surround?
I think the next one will be really probably more markets, honestly, and that's going to come from being able to allocate more aircraft. So we like to let the customer kind of guide us. We're very optimistic and we're very confident about how McKinney is going to perform. We're starting off with 2 airplanes in these 5 routes. If we are right about how well received that'll be, then I think you can expect us to add more aircraft, which will be most likely drive more destinations that we announce in and out of McKinney. We'll certainly look forward to having a celebratory first flight on November 11th. So that day will be here before you know it, and we will be excited to have a really fun day up in McKinney that day. But hopefully between now and then, maybe we'll be able to offer a little bit more, even some new destinations beyond these 5. But we'll see. We'll see. Stay tuned.
I appreciate it. Andrew Levy, CEO with Avelo. I really appreciate you for being transparent with us and always being willing to interview and keep us up to speed on what's happening locally.
It's my pleasure and happy to do it anytime. And thanks for giving me an opportunity to tell you a little bit about what we're doing. Look forward to meeting you in person before long, I hope.
For sure. I appreciate it. Thank you, Andrew.
All right. See ya.
And then I just wanted to ask real quick, Jobin, just because